Yo, everybody, I am back. Another week, and I actually have another review. Um, I usually don't get too serious on this podcast with things. I did a little when I was doing the podcast with like the fitness stuff, but um, I didn't really ever like cover anything too close to the heart, I guess. And this time, I'm actually going to. I just got back from seeing the movie Cabrini. Now, if you don't know what it's based off of, it's based off of Saint Cabrini, who came to America in the late 1800s and was trying to help Italian immigrant children that were orphans. And she wanted to go there and open orphanages up and help the kids and stuff. Now, originally, she wanted to go to China and do it, but the Pope, and I'm not going to say the whole story. You should go see it, but it's the Pope was getting letters from all the Italian immigrants in New York saying how badly they were treated, and how the kids were being, there were orphans in the streets everywhere, and blah blah blah, the whole 9 yards. And he said, "Well, basically, you can do what you're doing because back then, you got to remember that women didn't really have a voice at this time. You know, there was a time. It is true that women had no voice. That it's the truth, and she was told, okay, you want to go spread the word, and she was just trying to go out and open the orphanages with her sisters, like religious sisters, and but she needed the backing of the Roman Catholic Church to do it. Even now, again, I'm Roman Catholic. I do not practice Catholicism anymore. I do not like Catholicism, but I do understand how the Catholic Church, the Church itself, works. I don't really like it. But anyway, that was like a side thing, a personal thing. But the movie takes place, so she's going to go to New York now. I don't know if many people understand. Let me give you a little background again on me. I mean, I told you I practiced Catholicism at one time, but obviously, then I'm Italian. I'm a third generation Italian immigrant. My great grandfather came here, and my great grandmother from Italy to Louisiana, which I don't know if a lot of people realize there was a lot of Italian immigrants in the South too. And then obviously, I don't know if you ever hear me talk about it, but obviously I'm not originally from Arizona. I don't talk like somebody from Arizona because I'm originally from New Jersey. And that's where my family settled after Louisiana. They kind of moved up to the tri-state area and settled in New Jersey. And that's where I came in. So this kind of meant a little more to me because, in the world through time, lots of people have been mistreated by a lot of different other people. Humans are terrible against other humans. It really doesn't matter what you look like, who you are, where you came from. Humans will always find something to fight with another human about. It seems to be in our nature. But Italians were not treated well for quite a bit of time in America when they first came here. They were. I mean, we'll go. I found a couple of articles that like goes into it a little bit that I figured I'd end with. So I figure, I'm don't want to get off too much on a tangent and not stick with it being a movie review. And I'll kind of finish my thoughts at the end. But this is the actual. That was the actress that played her. This is the movie poster. This is the actual woman, Mother Cabrini. That's her actual picture. And she almost died when she was younger from drowning and stuff. And she had very weak lungs. And she didn't have long, but man, she made it to 67. Just goes to show you when you're put on this earth to do something, until you achieve it, you're always going to keep trying to fight when you really believe in something. So some would say that was God's intervention. You say what you want, what it is, but you got to have something in you, wherever you're getting it from, so you can keep going, basically. Because it ain't easy, man. Sometimes we all know that. We've all been through shit. So again, the movie is based on her life. So I'm going to give you the big overview of what she did. I basically told you already. She wanted to go open orphanages. She went to New York. She had some shit ass times there. Then she tried opening a hospital, had some shit ass times there. Long story short, she became a saint. There you go. The 2-second overview of the movie. Obviously, there's a lot more involved in it, but go see it. Go support it. And the nice thing about it, too, is, again, even if you're not a religious person, that's fine. That's fine. A good movie is a good movie when it's got a good message as well. I don't care where it's coming from. The people who make the movie let you donate so people who can't afford it can go for free. So they can go see the movie. It's not really about making money when you got a good message to put out, whatever that message is. So, anyway, let's look at the actors real quick and the actresses. All right. So, a lot of the actors and actresses are actually Italian from Italy. So, they're not well known here. At least most people won't know them here. But they were amazing actors. But you'll know some faces, like this guy right here, David Morse. You know him. If you know, I shouldn't say that. If you're young, you might not know who he is. But if you've been around the block for a hot minute, you'll know who that guy is. He's been in a lot of shit. But the top woman who plays Mother Cabrini is an Italian actress. The guy who plays the Pope, Giancarlo, is Italian actress. And then we got another John over here. You know who John Lithgow is, right? He played the mayor. He's not in it a ton, but he's the one pulling all the strings, basically. But I love the ending, which any good story, even if it isn't a true story, when you can go like this to the fucking bad guy at the end, there ain't no better fucking movie than saying fuck you to the bad guy at the end. However you get there, whatever, sure, there's nuance there, but it's nothing like saying fuck you to the bad guy. And then she played, Romana played Vittoria, who was, she runs into them when they first come to America and tries to look out for them and stuff. She's actually a prostitute and stuff, but she winds up going with them and helping them out and changing her life. And she saved them, then they saved her, and all nice stuff. And then this Federico who played Paolo, he was just one of the orphan kids. He was one of the first people you see in the movie, actually. You see him running. Dude, it killed me, man. Like, he's running through New York. And you only see, like, a front shot of him. Like, the camera's right here. So you see him running, and you just see the people behind him. And they're all just And they're not even saying like what's going on or who's that kid or does he need help. They're looking at him in pure disgust. And all you hear him about is like you're not supposed to be on the sidewalk. Not even then you actually see what he's pushing is a cart with his mother dying in it. And everybody's worried about that they're in the wrong spot and all this other shit. Because they didn't think of Italians as human beings at that time. They weren't human beings. They were lower than the rats in the city. So, and it really just, and he's just screaming and he's screaming in Italian. And sure, there's a language barrier, but when you see a kid screaming, you help. You find a way to help. I don't know. Maybe that's just how I am. I don't know. I wish all people were like that. I don't care who, but I don't know how you could not, how you could just sit back and just watch that and not attempt to do something, let alone be disgusted by him. It really got to me. I'm not gonna lie. And then I didn't even realize this during the fucking movie. I don't know if anybody you know who Bocelli is, that singer. He's blind. Uh, my mother loved her. God, I miss you, Mom. God bless you. But she loved him. I had no idea his daughter. So there's this one part in the movie where they're trying to get this Italian opera singer. Actually, the guy right underneath, the Salvo, Rolando Villazon. They're trying to get him to help raise money and stuff for the orphanage and help the kids out and all that. And he's just like, whatever. She just brings a bunch of kids and they sing this beautiful song underneath his window and he decides to help them. But the girl you hear singing is Bocelli's daughter, Virginia Bocelli. I had no idea until the end where they tell you stick around and listen to the original song that the two of them sing together. Now, I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw her, I'm like, oh wow, she's young. It must be his grandkid. No, man. Bocelli, that Italian's still pumping him out, man. So that's his daughter. He's got like two older sons and now this young daughter. So yeah, so I didn't even realize that when it was happening. That was something I learned a little bit later, and I was like, oh crap, that's crazy. And then I already told who that is. Now, this guy right here, Calloway, Jeremy Bob, is actually a news reporter at the New York Times who she winds up um, getting to help her. And I don't want to ruin anything, but he becomes friends with her and helps her and blah, blah, blah. And then we got Mr. From The Sopranos down here, Federico. I didn't even realize that was fucking him because he had a bunch of makeup on. And he had a beard and a mustache. I had no idea it was him. So, but yeah, he was in it. It was crazy. And then there's some other actors and actresses. I don't personally know who they are or anything, but everybody was just fantastic. And now this guy that played Follow Morelli, this fucking guy. First time you see his character is when Mother Cabrini first gets to New York, and he was supposed to pick them up at the dock when the boat got there. Of course, he wasn't there. So then there's this whole thing where they meet that prostitute girl, where they have to try to get a place to stay that night. Blah 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 blah. And the next day, they go finally into where they have to go meet for see where the orphanage is. They're going to open. You see him walking in the middle of the street with a pot in his hand, full of pasta, eating fucking pasta. He's just fucking down in spaghetti, dude. Linguine. He's just fucking eating it while he's talking. He is definitely like almost comic relief in this too. Um, but he's definitely an interesting character. And then all the people that played the sisters and stuff. This is one of them right here. Montserrat Espadali. Yeah. Everybody was really, really good in this that they picked to play all the different parts. So now, real quick, I want to get into this just so you have background. So maybe you'll want to go see because you're like, maybe you're not religious, so you don't know about Saint Cabrini, who's Mother Cabrini, blah blah blah. I don't want to go see a religious movie. It's not that. Okay. Um, It has to do with religion, and it is a very good message, and it's a wonderfully made movie. That's all you should really care about. It's a good movie, right? Doesn't matter the rest. It's a good message. As long as it's a good message, who cares? It's a strong woman, man. An amazing woman who was sick. She didn't have strong lungs and she just kept going. It's fucking amazing. It's a trope to say America has a long tradition of welcoming immigrants. This is only partially true. It's a long tradition of treating immigrants with open discrimination, even violent hostility, which everybody talks about, right? Everybody talks about that still today, right? Well, in 1891, one of the worst mass lynchings in U.S. history occurred in downtown New Orleans. Now, what did I say? Where did my family go? Okay? Could have been my family. Maybe I would have never been here. All right, I didn't even think of, like, I read through this real quick and didn't even realize that that's where those lynchings happened, was in New Orleans. In downtown New Orleans, 11 men were hung or shot to death by a mob seeking justice for a murdered policeman. The victims were all Italians. It's crazy. Here, let me bring this up for you. I'm reading from a thing. I'm going to bring it up. I mean, there's only a picture. There's not really to see, but just so you know, I'm actually reading something. The case was not isolated. This is insane to me. I didn't fucking know this. This case was not isolated. All 5 Italians living in Tallulah, Louisiana, were lynched in 1899 after a disagreement over a goat. In all, about 50 lynchings of Italians have been documented in a period of 1890 to 1920. And that's where documented ones. Keep in mind, with anything that's documented, remember what documented means. Not everybody always comes forward. Not everything is always written down. So that could be doubled, tripled. Who the hell fucking knows? With anything I'm saying, when they say it's what's documented. In response to the New Orleans lynchings, the New York Times wrote an editorial. Look at this. There's these sneaky. Now, fuck. And what's crazy, okay, what's crazy is they're talking about Sicilians, and I'm half Sicilian, and that's the grandmother that came through Louisiana was Sicilian. These sneaky and cowardly Sicilians, the descendants of bandits and assassins who have transported to this country the lawless passions, the cutthroat practices, and oath-bound societies of their native country, are to us a pest without mitigation. Our own rattlesnakes are as good citizens as they. Lynch law was the only course to open to the people of New Orleans to stay the issue of a new license to the mafia to continue its bloody practices. The reporting of the story in the editorial make for a very uncomfortable reading today. Now, this was the New York Times. It's the New York Times. You give them money still? A more liberal view came from Rochester Union Advertiser, which found the whole affair deplorable. We are not unfriendly to the men of any foreign land who come here to be Americanized. And all we ask is that they shall not be murderers, plots, or vendettas along with them. It's fucking gross, man. Here's the bare facts right here. Italians started migrating to the United States in large numbers in the 1880s. And this happened, the Mother Cabrini thing happened in that time frame. I believe it was 89, 91, somewhere in there. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. And the migration grew steadily down to 1921 when Congress passed a law to restrict immigration. Oh, what's that? About 80% of them were from impoverished south of Italy or from Sicily. Only about 50% were literate, and only about 30% were women. Mostly there were men coming for work, hoping to make enough money to go home and buy their own farm. Numbers are hard to estimate because so many men did return home, but it's in the region of 4 million. Now think about that. That's what immigration is. They come here, they work for a little bit, but they go home and they bring their money there. Okay, whatever. They send it to their family, they're taking care of it. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. The immigrants were portrayed in part in the media as ignorant, insular, superstitious, lazy, prone to crime, ignorant of the law, ignorant of democracy, and prone to righting wrongs with personal vendettas and acts of violence. Even their food was seen as alien. One popular book published in 1907 stated badly that immigrants from Eastern and Southern Europe are storming the Nordic ramparts of the United States and mongrelizing the good old American stock. Holy shit. Now remember, there was a lot of Christian here. Italians brought Catholicism. Their form of Catholicism was also seen as different. All Catholics faced prejudice in America, but in the Mediterranean, faith was blended with other kinds of beliefs, some of them pre-Christian, such as belief in an evil eye and good and evil spirits. Okay? The Maloik. I don't know if I ever said that on the podcast. The Maloik is the evil eye. And okay, so if somebody wishes you ill will, is envious of you, wants what you want, doesn't like you for some reason, whatever, they can give you the Maloik, the horns, the evil eye, and basically curse you. It's basically what it is. And you're going to have bad stuff happen to you or whatever. And if you have the Maloik, you have a couple choices. Okay? And I'm going to tell you the Italian remedies for the Maloik. You ready? Write them down. Like when you're killing a vampire, you need to write down how to take care of the vampire and destroy him. Here's how you destroy the Maloik. Okay? Well, one is how you destroy it. One is how you avoid it. Okay? So if you want to avoid the Maloik, you got to have a horn. Either a red one hanging from your mirror or you got to have a gold one hanging from your neck. Okay? That is basically like a force field to the Maloik. So if somebody shoots the Maloik at you, like, pew, right at you, that fucking thing, it stops it in its tracks. Done. Okay? Now, if you're not smart and you don't stop the Maloik from coming on you, then you have to get it blessed off of you. And that involves, at least in my case, when it was taken off of me when I was young, because if I had a headache, I had aunts that would take the Maloik off of me. So to take the Maloik off, they pray over you and do the sign of the cross. And I think it was Hail Marys and Our Fathers, and there might have been some other stuff in there because they had to whisper it. So they'd be, and they'd be doing that over you. And then when they were done, they would walk into the bathroom and spit in the toilet and flush it. So it was like they took the fucking evil out of you, took it in their mouth, and then spit that shit in the toilet and flushed the devil down to the fucking shit house. Done. So that was the Maloik and all that. So that's when they're saying the evil eye and shit. That's what they're talking about. The Italian Festus annual public celebrations, parades of the saints were also glaring novelties at the time. So, I mean, we don't have to go through this whole article, but as you can see, we were not traded. Now, and again, I feel that's one of the people that you can all make fun of, and it's still accepted, And I think it's all stupid. I think you should be able to make jokes and have comedy about everything. Don't get me wrong. I just find it funny that there's just those one or two that everybody can still make fun of. and it's okay. And Italians, if anybody, have a gripe, especially, if you're a first, second, third, fourth uh, generation immigrant, where your family came here to work and do all those things and went through all this shit. Kind of sucks. So I just wanted to give out a little bit of fucking history about it, and maybe, and you see it in the movie. Like, you see, it's disgusting, dude. No human being should be treated like that. I don't care who you are. As a human, you shouldn't be treated like that. Especially kids, man. I can't. And maybe it's hard to see that when you're younger or before you have kids. I don't know. But my gosh, having my son, I could never just leave a kid or hurt a kid or let a kid be hurt under my watch or know it and not do something, let alone actively throw them into the garbage, basically. It was just disgusting. Disgusting. But I have one last interesting thing that when I watched the movie, I was like, holy shit, is that kind of true? Is it kind of different? And well, there's this whole thing where, let me bring this back up. I'm going to switch to this. Technically, Italians are Latins. Now, again, we are not Hispanic in that sense. But a lot of the languages and the people stem from Latin. That's why Italian and Spanish sound so similar. Okay, because they are derived from Latin. And then they're kind of separated into their own things. But I don't want to go through this whole thing, but I want to just read a couple quick things. So it says Latin began in Latium, which is an area in west central Italy. Latium initially was composed of the area around the Alban Hills, but eventually expanded south of the Tiber River to Mount Surcio. The original Latins lived in this area as far back as the first millennium BCE. As the centuries passed, Eurasians occupied Latium and established Rome. As the Roman Empire's dominance over the world grew, so did the dominance of their language, Latin. There were basically two types of Latin, classic and vulgar. Classic Latin was a formal written language. It was the language of literature and official documents. Even after the collapse of Rome, it was used for this purpose through Europe. Dante and Petrarch, two of the fathers of Italian literature, wrote many of the works in Latin. Which, yeah, that's true. During the Middle Ages, scholars would study Roman texts so they could write official government documents. Since scholars based the writings on blah, 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 blah. The vulgar Latin, the spoken Latin, had a much different fate. We would make a point here about the word vulgar. Most frequently today, people use the word vulgar to describe explicit or offensive. Blah, blah, blah. Another definition of the word is something which is common or lacking in sophistication. The second definition of vulgar is what, yeah, so that's what that means, okay? People did not follow strict rules when speaking. As a result, the pronunciation and definitions of words evolved as the grammar. We see that in everyday language. Yeah, well, dude, I mean, again, you hear American Italians speak about things and the way they say words, and Italians in Italy are like, that's not Italian. What the fuck are you talking about? So I could definitely see that, even in that sense. Two different Italians aren't even agreeing on how words are said. After the collapse of Rome, a loss of unifying authority, the way in which people spoke in former areas of the empire evolved differently. Eventually, the usage, blah, 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 blah. So contrast English spoken in southern United States with what is spoken in New York and London. Each of the language is dialect. It's very true. Even in America, people have different dialects in different parts of the country. But we're all Americans. We're all speaking English. So, here's the point I want to make, and we're going to wrap this up. Man, I still hit 30 minutes. I didn't think I was going to have that much to talk about. All right, returning to our main point, the cultures whose core language is based in Latin are the Latin cultures such as Spanish, French, and Italian. I think French went in totally all the way over there, but that's just my opinion. We can refer to individuals from the countries as Latin, Hispanic. As Latin. Hispanic, however, refers to people and cultures that were derived from former parts of the Spanish Empire. They inherit their Latiness through Spain. Those Latins whose culture did not evolve from the Spanish Empire are not Hispanic. That's what I said. They are simply Latin. We can therefore, all Hispanics are Latin, but not all Latins are Hispanic. So there you go, everyone. So in a nutshell, if you're Italian, you're Latin, but you're not Hispanic. I just thought that was kind of interesting. I never really thought about that before. That being an Italian, that I'm technically Latin. I never really thought of that. But yeah, it's kind of cool. But listen, go see that movie. It's good. It's a good date night movie. Again, you don't have to be a religious person to enjoy this movie. It was a good movie. The actors do a great job. It was written well, filmed well. The shots of the city and everything are amazing. The Statue of Liberty, everything is just great. It doesn't look like a piece of shit CGI at all. So, and go support it, man. It's good. Again, always go support good cinema in the cinema. Let the movie theater know you like it, and let the people who made it know you like it. And don't support the stupid shit you don't like, whatever that is, for whatever reason. That's your right. Don't you do what you want with your money. All right, people? Everyone, you know what to do. If you like this, if you even watch it, that's fucking cool. I don't care. I'm still going to do it. But if you do watch it and you like it, please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you're doing, whatever platform you're on. Go to our Instagram, links in the bio, everything there, every link you could ever need. There's merch, there's everything. But please, just let me know you like it. Share it. Do all those things. Go support the movie. And I will be back next time. Peace.
Go to Harris, I'm telling you, you better die. Bye. Go to Harris, I'm telling you, you better die.
See you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Harris, I'm telling you.